A lot of times in life, people have differences or things that make us weird or abnormal, and we tend to want to minimize these things so people don't know about them. We tend to want to hide them, put them in the closet and bury them, but you really should be using them as your strength.
You know that we coming liars. I'ma keep praying to Gaia. Tell those little niggas stop it. Tell my mama that I got this. You know that we coming liars.
What's going on? It's Pimp Fried Rice. Welcome to the Music into Millions podcast, the show where we give independent rappers the tools and resources needed to be successful without waiting on a record label. Like I said, today we're going to be talking about using your differences as a strength. And now before I get into that, I kind of want to preface what I'm saying with life is all about perspective. Whatever you set your mind to is really the course of how your life is going to go. So if you're constantly thinking about things that are negative, you're going to end up having a negative life with a lot of negative things that happen to you. If you're constantly thinking about positive things and your strengths and how you can use things to your advantage, you're constantly going to find new opportunities, new doors opening up, new things happening because you're looking at the world through a positive lens. So with that being said, when you look at your differences or the things that you may even consider as weaknesses or flaws or things that are wrong with you, you don't realize if you're looking at that through a different perspective, they can actually be flipped around and be used as your strengths. And now a lot of times people are like, well, I don't want people to know about my weaknesses, or I don't want them to know about the things that make me different, because for whatever reason, people feel like in order to be accepted by other people, they need to fit a certain mold or they need to be a specific way, so that way people don't judge them or laugh at them or treat them weird. But in reality, the things that make us different are really the things that make us great. And now I say this all the time, like, you have specific aspects of your personality that nobody else in the world has. You may have something that this guy has a little bit of that over here and this guy has a little bit of that over here, but no one person has all the different factors of your personality and the way you look and who you are and what you like the same exact way as you. And that's what makes us individuals humans, and that's why the world is such an interesting place. So when you begin to shift your mindset from a negative one to a positive one, you start looking at these weaknesses and these differences as strengths, your music career can really take off, because instead of hiding these things, you start to capitalize on them and you start to use them to your advantage. So no longer can people make fun of you for these things or make you feel like you're less than a human, because now you're flipping the script on them and you're changing the whole scenario around and making it beneficial to you. And that's what you want to do. You want to take any circumstance that you're dealt with, any hand that life gives you, and just play it to the best of your ability. So let me give you some examples so you can hear what I'm talking about. Because really, once you start to use these strengths, that can actually become a core part of your brand and your music, so that way people associate it with you, they associate it with your music, and like I said, it just becomes a core part of who you are. So for example, one that came to mind kind of initially is, I, as a kid, always had crooked teeth. They're not as bad as they used to be, just because I've had braces and a retainer and all the bullshit that no one wants to deal with as a kid. But there's this one rapper that I always used to listen to named Brother Lynch Hung, and he has really messed up teeth. Like, he makes my teeth look like they are fucking not messed up. I don't really have a good analogy for that. But the cool part with Brother Lynch Hung is he actually used his crooked, messed up teeth as part of his brand. He used to talk about it in his music. He used to use it for photo shoots. Like, he would do like this weird smile, and like part of his image was that he was a cannibal, and like he was very into like very like dark horrorcore rap, like murder stuff. I think he's part of Strange Music, which is Tech Nine's label. And so he actually just made a whole brand about being this weirdo with messed up teeth and being a cannibal and eating people, and that's why his teeth are messed up. And he made what would essentially be a weakness or something that people look down on, he made it a strength, and he made it a part of his brand that now, like, when I think of Brother Lynch Hung, I think of the messed up teeth just because he talks about it so much. He incorporates it in his music, but now that works for him because he tied it into being a cannibal, which adds to the gruesome story or the grisly details or whatever it is he's going for. But another even better example than that is a group of rappers called the Odd Squad family. And I actually found these guys through Instagram, and I'm not gonna lie, I've heard maybe one of their songs, but I've actually followed them on Instagram just from the fact that they're such an interesting collective of people. There's 3 guys in the group. I'm actually not familiar with what the third guy's name is, but the 2 guys I want to talk about are Snowman and Nubs. And Snowman essentially was born an albino. So, I mean, he has no pigment in his skin, he's super pale, he has the like whitish, yellowish hair. I even think he has like the pink in his eyes, like all the clear signs of albinoism. And instead of him being like, fuck it man, I can't rap, like no one wants to look at an albino rapper, or no one wants to, you know, deal with a guy who looks a little weird, he used that as his persona and as his brand. And that's why he's Snowman, because obviously snowmen are all white, they don't have any color to them. So he took the persona of what essentially could have been the career ender for some people. Like some people would look at that and be like, man, fucking no one wants to listen to this guy who doesn't even look normal, or has a little bit of an abnormality. Like he took that and he's like, you know what? I'm going to capitalize on it. I'm going to, instead of hiding it and trying to take it away from people, I'm going to set it right out there on the forefront. So you either have to accept it or hate it. But right there, off the jump, he gives you that option. And if you don't want to be a fan, then it's fine that you leave. But he has made that a part of his brand, and a strong part of his brand. And the other guy, Nubs, is a rapper who I'm not sure if he was born this way or if it happened later in life. I think he was born this way, but he actually only has nubs. Like his arms end about here on both arms, and then he has like this little like bump that I guess he would consider like his thumb on each hand. And one thing I really like about him is his name Nubs is not just Nubs because like he has nubs for arms. It's actually an acronym that stands for, hold on, let me make sure I get this right, normally underestimated by sight. So he literally not only took the fact that he has no arms, but he used that as a positive aspect. Like he's saying, people will take one look at me and they think, oh, you can't do this, oh, you can't do that. But he said, fuck that, I'm gonna exceed all these limitations that people put on me, because they're not the things that he believes about himself, that's what other people believe about him. He sees it as a strength. He sees it as something that makes him different, as something that makes him stand out from the crowd, as something that really just separates him as an individual. In fact, I even saw a video of him rolling a blunt. Like, with his nubs and the little thumb things, he rolled, and this blunt was pearl. Like, this was a nicely rolled blunt. And it's just like, the fact that he can do that, first off, he was doing it in a car while the car was moving. So that alone was like pretty impressive, because he's not dropping nothing. That aside, he's taken his weakness or his difference and he's turned it into a strength. And now he capitalized that on his music career. And now he's used that to really separate himself from the mold. So I want to encourage you today to find whatever makes you different. Find what makes you weird and capitalize on it. Make it something that's a part of your brand. Another guy that I want to shout out, his name is the Wheelchair King, and he's a rapper that I follow through Instagram. And he does a weekly episode where I don't know the actual disease that he has or the condition that he has that put him in a wheelchair, but I know he is in one, and he uses that as part of his brand. He does weekly freestyle videos called Wheelchair King TV on YouTube, and it's like, I honestly just check it out just because I fuck with him and his personality, and the fact that he doesn't look at anything in life as a setback. He looks at it as an opportunity on how he can separate himself from other rappers. So that's what you need to start doing. Matter of fact, let me know in the comments down below. What makes you different? What makes you a weirdo? What would you typically consider a weakness that now you're going to start thinking about as a strength and you can use to separate you from all the other rappers in the world? Let me know down below. Make sure you guys like this video if you found something valuable in here. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. You know all these things every YouTuber tells you in every video. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Peace.
I